Pull that up. Good morning, good morning. We are on the ODivaZ race. My name is Jason Flores, and I am going to be taking you around the course today. We are on Watopia Hills. Right now, we are on the neutral rollout. So I will get with our ride leader here, and I will drop in to the group. We are just started on the first hill. We are still in neutral, and we are being reminded that it is a neutral rollout and everybody needs to stay behind or with the beacon. Definitely recommended to try to stay behind. So thanks for joining us, everybody. I hope we enjoy the race. We've got 3 laps of Watopia Hills. This is a classic course that we're looking at today. We are looking at the original hill of Watopia. We're looking at the S's. We're looking at Sprint Village. All these pieces that we used to just do hundreds and hundreds of laps on is what we're looking at conquering today by this group of ladies. I think we've got 25 riders in the pen. We're really trying to hold everybody together. There's going to be some dynamics that we've never seen before. We've never had a climb of this amount or this magnitude in this race. So I'm looking forward to a very, very interesting race. We're going to jump on board here straight with Tia Friedstedt as she gets to the middle of the climb here, and we can see what's going on. Let's see. All right, as we can see here, she's got the group well under control. We've only got 1 or 2 riders in front of her, but overall, she's got it well taken care of here. We are headed up the Watopia KOM. So we've got plenty of riders in the pen and on course today. I'm actually going to go through a little bit of a list. We've got Enasari, Ali Bell, Z Kala, Lucy Collins, Carrie Conabear, she's on board today, Senja Pakala, Stephanie Michael. We've got Kirsten Katronis, S. Roos, new rider for us, Kate Gusky, Megan Herzog, and definitely she is someone to watch out for. I'm going to scroll through the list here. We've got a couple more. Ellen Johnson. See, we are kind of scrolling over through other riders that are also in ODivaZ races. June Upshaw, Lisa Tilford, C. Scott. Let's see if we can find a first name on that. And that looks like our 27. And of course, we have our ride leader, Tia Friedstedt here, holding down the group quite well. Let's see if we can scroll out just a bit to get a bigger view of how everything is going. And it looks like she's got everyone under control with only a handful of riders in front. I'm sure we're going to be able to bring that back. So today, the race will begin at the bottom of the hill on the back side, and there's a little shack, a little place that we call Hank's Garage. It's going to be on the back side of this hill that we will be able to see these riders come up to, and that is where we are going to get the go, and we are doing 3 laps of Watopia Hills. This is the very first route on the island, and remember, this includes this KOM. That means they're going to be climbing this KOM 2 more times to get to the finish, as well as going through the S's another total of 3 times, as well as the sprint. I don't think anyone's going to be contesting for the sprint today, but I do think that it is going to be a great race because of the climbing. We have never covered a race where we have had this much climbing for the ladies race, so I think there are a lot of factors to be factored into this race today as well, you know, with power to weight ratio, with really how much you can last at the pace. And so we are now getting the message that the start is going to be at the bottom of the hill. We will be able to see that it's going to be really tricky to keep everybody together on this downhill. So everyone's going to need to keep their eyes open and stay with the pace and slow down as we go. So just a quick reminder, this is our 8th installment of the women's race, and we are definitely grabbing a crowd. You know, we've got a little bit of waxing and waning as far as how many people come into this group, you know, as more outside rides start to happen. We definitely can get a little bit of a change in how many people are in our groups, but definitely still a really good time as we roll in and as we get these groups together every week. It's just amazing. We've got new riders every year. We've got every week that we have the race, and we also are able to answer a lot of questions throughout the week as people find out about the ride and different things that we do. Not only do we have this ride, but we actually, teams like Team ODivaZ also have rides throughout the week that support both women's cycling as well as all different paces throughout the week. We've got the ODivaZ ride that's on Wednesday mornings. There's a new ride by our ride leader, Tia Friedstedt, on Monday mornings called Chat and Chill, which is very, very informative. She brings in other ladies riders to talk about different topics. We've got In the Feed Zone. In the Feed Zone on Friday morning, that's got information on the current media as far as nutrition and feeding, then as well as Wednesday mornings with What's Up with Power with Justin Wagner, and talking about how to train and race with power. So it's very, very important that everybody stays with the beacon here. We are rolling with the beacon here. We've only got a handful of riders in front. Miss Conabear is rolling right straight back. And Miss Fisk here, B Fisk. Let's see if we can grab a first name on that. But it looks like we are where we need to be. Beth Fisk, that is. Excellent. She's about a minute ahead. We're going to need to roll Miss Beth Fisk all the way back to us if she wants to not be disqualified here in the race. We are very close to the end here, but she is full gas at 3.5 watts per kilogram. So I don't know if she's going to be coming back. Everyone else seems to be right here within 1 or 2 seconds. We're going to see if we can pan out just a little bit, and then we'll be going go live in just a little bit. We've got the overhead view here. It's looking pretty good. Yeah. We've only got one rider ahead. If we can kind of roll her back. Miss Beth Fisk, if you are on Discord, go ahead and let off the gas. Come on back. We are almost to the start here, to the end of the neutral rollout. We are headed downhill on the backside of Watopia Hills. This is one of the fastest one of the sections where you feel, hey, maybe I'll be able to get a rest. But you know what? It ends up that everyone still hammers down the back of side of this. And we will see this as we hit the first full open lap that we have for these ladies coming into the downhill after the hills here. So Tia Fried says, making her way to the front. We are very close. As we kind of peek here, you'll see our two little alien riders there in the view. Very classic rings. We're going to pass under those rings. We've got 2 left turns, a right turn, and then straight down to Hank's garage. And that will get us where we need to go. We've got a good mix of riders today, A, B's, and C riders, as well as new riders who actually just jumped in the race because they wanted to know what it was all about. So we answered a lot of questions beforehand. We've got all teams represented here. We'll kind of see the coats as we go, the colors per se. We'll see how that kind of pans out. Typically, this race ends up being a very strategic race, but as an individual versus a team race, we haven't had enough team presence to really make a big bump in strategy-wise. So essentially, this ends up being a one-man or one-woman race most weeks. So we will see how it turns out today. Just a quick thought from last week, we actually saw something very unique. Usually we see, I think we're getting very close. I could see Hank's garage from here. We are getting close. It should come up on the left-hand side here. Everyone goes into super tuck, trying to keep that. And there is the garage on the left side. We are about to go. We are about to go. We zoom out to the race. And there's the garage. We should get it. There it is. Go. We hear it from the commissioner. We are green light, go. And we've got Miss Sunquist from Team X going straight to the front saying, I am not going to have this steady pace. We are going to bring everyone up here. Miss Herzog's right there with her, seeing what she could do, kind of holding on to that wheel, wanting to know what kind of pace are we going to hold today. We've got a good group of, let's see, we've got 3 or 4 riders up here towards the front, closing up on Miss Frisk up here, 51 seconds ahead. We are not including her in the race. We do not need to chase or draft that rider. We've got Sarah Hallmichael and Carrie Conabear right there with us in this group of 5, 6, 7 riders now. All together here, making a little bit of break for themselves. We're looking at 2 seconds from the group behind them being Nadia Sari, S. Roos, Tia Friedstedt, and Team Moose, which I've got a really cool story if we have a chance to kind of visit. while we are getting all settled in here and checking out the pace, a big a big congratulations to Miss Conaver here for getting qualified for the CVF Worlds race, being able to represent the United Kingdom out there. So that is a great accomplishment. And she's here showing in full color, showing that this is why I've been chosen. And if you want to be with me, you have got to stay on my wheel. I've got a 1 second gap, 2 second gap. They have got to close this down. She is showing her true colors today, saying that I don't need anyone to draft and I can take this the long way. So we are still in our first lap and we are doing quite well. We are looking at a 4 second gap. We've got 2 riders trying to bridge. Definitely can make it. Senja Pakala, great rider from Team ODivaZ, has great history. In the early races of the series, did very well as an A rider, and looks like they've closed that gap. They've got now 3 riders in the break, which is typically a very good number. If these 3 can work together, it can definitely keep a gap. But as we look in the review view just there before we got blocked off, you can see the peloton right behind them, and it is a big group of 7, 8, 9 riders, only 5 seconds behind. So if they want to keep this going, they are going to need to keep the pedal on, and looks like they are. They are doing above 4.0 watts per kilogram to stay away from this group. They are not messing around. 1, 2, 3. Senja Pakala just falling off. She needs to hold on to that wheel if she wants to keep with this front group. But Miss Tilford and Carrie Conaver pounding the pedals at 4.1, knowing that through the S's, it's going to be difficult. One thing to think about, totally forgot, after the sprint here across the bridge, there is a little stinger hill, which I think is going to be a decision-making move at this every time we come across it, because you are going to need to get up, get that power high, and go all the way up and over this. So we're going to see how much power they're able to put during this first hill, and we still have this break of 2 riders, Carrie Conaver, and see if I can get a first name on L. Tilford here, and see what we've got. See if we can get some live stats as well, coming in from Zwift Power. And if you want to see what's going on in the race and what's happening, Zwift Power is definitely a place to go. It will give us up-to-the-date information as far as where each riders are, what the gaps are. Right now, we've got 2 riders that are in the break, and looks like Senja Pakala has dropped back to the main group, which can definitely be to her advantage. If she's not able to keep up that pace, going back to the group of 1, 2, 3, we're looking at 9 riders. You could see it in the beacon there. They are not far back with 2 riders out there. They're just letting them dangle. They've got about 10 seconds. But here's the thing. If these 2 riders, there we go. If these 2 riders can get anywhere from 20 to 30 second gap, I think this main group or this peloton has got to start worrying and has got to start putting the gas down. We have got a long race still ahead of us. We are still in the very, very first lap. So we've got some time to go. This is not a short race by any means, and by category on Zwift Power, it is category climbing difficult / tough. So as we make it through the S's here, you can see the beacon in the distance. The gap is holding at 14 seconds. Everybody on the front of that chase group is definitely working. You can see the wattages really getting up there. But this front group of Miss Tilford and Carrie Conaver is not letting off. They will not get off 3.7 watts per kilogram. So everything that and above, we are looking for that to really make a difference here. And you can see 7.2 by Carrie Conaver looking to spike, getting over that hill, making sure that she's got some momentum to get over that. So as we come to this final couple turns, I'm going to point out a couple landmarks that are going to be important as we get into the final turns. I'll see if I can get the camera turned around. Looks like we're in the right position. We see the first sign here. There's going to be one more sign here, and actually we need to remember as we make this right turn towards the finish here, this is going to be the 1K to go banner. There's the rocks. We're looking at 1K to go right about there from here to the start finish line. So we're going to watch that as we enter our second full lap of the ODivaZ ladies race definitely want to watch that as we come back around. We've got a two-rider break in L. Tilford and Kerry Conabear. I'm still looking up that name. And we've got a chase group that's holding at 14 seconds. I would say this is a very smart move by the group. And if they can keep this together, they've got a hill coming up and a climb. And in fact, they can see what this group is going to be able to, what this chase group, or excuse me, what this breakaway is going to be able to put out on this hill. This is a very, again, a very, very unique course in the fact that we will be doing a whole lot of climbing. It doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but on the course you can definitely feel the legs burning, because this effort coming up this hill is anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes at full gas. So we will see. We are coming through the start finish, and the chase group is at 12 seconds. But remember, this is a bit of a downhill coming to the Amgen Tour of California start finish line. We still have the two riders, L. Tilford and Kerry Conabear, with a nice break of 12 or 13 seconds there. Lisa Tilford is the name. Very strong, very strong here. Lisa Tilford and Kerry Conabear. The gap is still 12 seconds. We are going to stay with these riders. As soon as we make that turn up on the hill, I am going to go back to the chase group and see how this chase group can get motivated. They have got it down to 11 seconds. I think if I were in the break, I would want to make sure that this gap stays around 10 seconds or less up and over, not needing to exaggerate it too much, because knowing that on the opposite side, we all have a downhill and everyone is going to be gassed. So as we make this turn, we're going to go under the JW bridge. There it is. And we'll make one final right turn, and we'll be going up Watopia Hill. I'm going to jump back to our ride leader, Taya Freitstedt, and the chase group. So we've got 11 seconds to the chase, and they are just passing under the bridge now. The group is 1, 2, 3. We're looking at 8 or 9 riders again. This is Senja Pakala, Sarah Michael Lindquist, Sunquist, C. Scott, Kirsten Catronis, Team Moose, and Michelle Herzog, I believe. Really strong riders in this group. Really need to group up here. Close those gaps. You've got that little indicator that says you're in or out of the draft. It's going to be important to get in the draft. Not necessarily to push the pace. I don't think we're going to gain a whole lot of ground here in the chase group as far as pushing the pace up, but you need to stay in the draft so you are with this group as they go over. So there is a little bit of a lull halfway up this hill. And Taya Freitstedt, it says, I've got fresh legs. I canceled the training camp this weekend that I was going to because of the horrible rain, so I am going to ride online with the virtual rain and ride with my ladies. And it looks like she is charging up this hill at 3.5 watts per kilogram, leading the charge, dragging everyone she can up this hill, motivating everyone to close that gap. The gap is coming down to about 6 seconds. So this is a good time to kind of let them kind of get grouped up, moving up this hill. And I will be making a call out to social media here. Everybody online, we've got about 15-20 viewers here on Zwift Live. If you've got a favorite out there so far, we've got a couple go carries. Good luck to everyone. And Miss Beth York on the sidelines is saying good luck to everybody as well. If you've got a favorite today, if you've got someone that you want to win, shout it out. Let us know. We want to let them know that you're out there cheering for them. So if you got a chance, drop a message. We'll catch it on this side, and we'll make sure that the riders can hear it there. So gap is looking good. Chase group is split up just a bit. Kerry Conabear is just about a second or two. And then Lisa's right there with her, but it's about 8 or 9 seconds. Taya Freitstedt still leading the charge, 3.5, 3.6 above, dragging as many people as she can up with this group. It's going to be important as she crests this hill, as she comes to the other side, that she has got riders with her, because now the draft will be super important coming down the other side. She's going to need everyone she can to get in that draft. The more people she's got, the better she'll be. So if we come over and we're still at about 10 seconds or so on the gap to the chase group, between the chase group and the break, I think they will be in good position to continue and to chase them through the S's. And I think that is where a lot of this race is going to be won or going to be lost. There's going to be a lot of places where the gap will increase or decrease during that time, and I think that's where a lot of that time can be gained back by the chase group here. Looks like Carrie Conaber has said, not having any of this. 20 seconds. See if you can chase me. I'm over the top, punching herself all over through the KOM, the Lexus KOM banner here, as Taya Freitzeid comes up to it. But she is up, over, and onto the other side, but she has not let off the gas. She's got a 28-second gap, and she's got a 20-second gap on Lisa Tilford. So it looks like the legs are definitely burning as we hit the hills here, and these ladies are putting very respective times down. Under 3 minutes for this climb is definitely respectable. Over half of the group has got that time. 9-10 riders under 3 minutes. That's amazing, and a couple riders still coming up the hill. So we have got a really spread out group now. We've got Carrie Conaber at 31 second in the lead here. 15 seconds behind, we've got Lisa Tilford. And then we've got another 15 seconds behind. We've got Taya Freitzeid. We've got plenty of people in the gap. Kirsten Catronis is 4 seconds behind Taya. This is her chance. As she crests, if she's got anything in her, she's got to get up, get over, and get on that wheel. Taya's right there. She's got the legs. Taya has shown and has proven that she's strong. If Kirsten can get over to Taya, I think that could be a chase group there that can make that can close the gap and get closer to Carrie Conaber there at the front. Behind them, we've got a group that's working together. C. Scott, Michelle Herzog, and Stephanie Hall-Michael. Those are 3 riders that have grouped up, and that is the smart thing to do. So Kirsten has closed the gap to 3 seconds. Just a little bit more there. Close that gap, and we will have our second chase group, and we can get a little bit going down. We are on the little humps coming down, and then we will be going straight downhill. So one thing to remember, depending on your weight, steady wattage coming down on this downhill can definitely be an advantage to riders. And so having riders with them in the draft makes a difference. Whether you're the front rider or the back rider, it can definitely play a role in how quickly you're making it down this road. Let's see what we've got. I'm going to roll back just a little bit to this small chase group with Stephanie Hall-Michael, C. Scott, and Michelle Herzog. Looks like they've got some nice steady pace going. They are about to hit the big downhill side. You can see the beacon in the distance here. And yeah, looks like they're working well together. This would be the third chase group. They're just about a minute from Carrie Conaber to the front, but a lot of times on these downhill pushes like this, it's really hard to tell what the gaps are. As they get to the bottom near Hank's Garage, we'll be able to get a better idea of what the actual gaps are. But definitely a great group together. If they can keep pushing the pace, keep steadying pace, as you get to the front of this group, you're going to want to push just a little bit harder and then drop back and recover a bit and then come back again. This is where workouts or intensities during your training, where 30 seconds on, 1 minute on, and being able to recover at the same amount of time in 30 seconds or 1 minute can be really, really important. So definitely races in the criterium in the real world, and a lot of times in Zwift, you are trying to emulate the efforts that you'll be putting in during the race, and this is them. And they are doing a great job at sticking together like glue, even through this horrendous rain that we're having here on Watopia. Unheard of during this time. With it being 80 degrees on the island and raining, it is not comfortable to be out on the island today. But these ladies are out there, and there's Hank's Garage. And the ladies come by, and we are in our second lap here. So I am going to jump forward and see what we have going on with our chase group. I'm actually going to jump back on with Kirsten Catronis there. We've got 2 riders, both Team ODivaZ riders, trying to call out to each other, seeing if they can group up and work together here. They're about 3 seconds behind each other, but Kirsten is wanting to close that gap, and I think she will here just shortly. She's got a small little up. If she can just give a small spike, I think she can get what she needs. And then I will jump all the way back up to Carrie Conaber into the head of this A pack, and here she is. We are looking at a steady 3.0 as she comes up. Definitely a little fatigue during this second lap. is going to start setting in. So I think we are going to see a whole different race as we get to our second and third lap. But she is no stranger to putting out high watts. We were just seeing a little bit of 5.0 coming up over that hill. She knows that the time can be lost on the uphills, so she's going to make sure that she can sting it every time she goes up to keep that gap. There is only a 7-second gap to Lisa Tilford, and that's definitely closable, but they are both on their own, so they've got to play the smart race here. There's 2 riders up ahead, about, let's say, 15 seconds, and then 10 seconds to Carrie Conabear here, which we are on board. She's got to play it smart. She knows that she's got a big gap between the main pack, but there are still riders here, within 3 or 4 riders that are still within striking distance, and she needs to make sure that she can keep control of this race as she stays in the front. I'm going to head over to Zwift Power and see how things are going. Yeah, it's showing very similar stats here. Carrie Conabear, she's actually from Team BRT, showing some great numbers today. We can roll down a little bit past our chase group. We've got Taya Friedstead chasing with Kirsten Cotronis, and it looks like they're still about 5 seconds apart there, looking for those riders to group up. We've got a group behind them, C. Scott, Michelle Herzog, is that right? And then Kim Gussie is in the next group behind them. And so we've got Kim Gussie and Nadia Asari, a frequent to most of the ODivaZ rides, definitely a good rider in her category. B and C are very close in this race, so a lot of times, headed back to the front, I will jump back to that. Looks like Lily Tilford has gotten 1 second to Carrie Conabear, and she comes right by. So Lisa says, hey, I've gotten the break I needed. I'm coming by. I've got the legs. We see the beacon in the background. That's Taya Friedstead. That's 3rd position. She is fighting for 3rd spot back there, 22 seconds behind. And she knows that gap, that golden number of 20 seconds. She's trying to keep that close. And she wants that 3rd spot. So Lisa and Carrie are here fighting on the little hills. We're on the Stinger right after the bridge. And they are back together. And then we will go around. Let's see if I could jump back. Where was I going? I was going back to show a little bit of the other riders. We've got Michelle Herzog, we've got C. Scott, and let's go even further back. I was down to Nadia here. We've got a couple riders after that. We've got E. Johnson, S. Roos, new rider for today. KD, her CD rider here, also in the mix. And then R. Hartel following that up about 3 or 4 minutes off the front here. So there's race between races here, and I'm going to try to cover at least a couple here up front. Right now we're on board with Carrie Conabear, and she's given the 1-2 punch back to Lisa Tilford and is ahead of her by 3 or 4 seconds. So definitely respectable. Can still see her in her sights, but she's doing everything she can to hold everyone off. I'm going to jump back to Taya Friedstead. See if we can get back there. There she is. She can see the riders ahead of her. She's about 25 seconds back. At this point, you know that she's got her head down. She is trying to make up some ground. The hard thing about the S's is the numbers can be very, very tricky in the fact that as you go up and down, the numbers will get big and small. So what you'll need to do is try to put your head down, make sure you're punch it on the ups, and recover on the downs, punch it on the ups, rinse and repeat. When you come down on the other side, close to the 1K mark before the banner, that is when you'll be able to see what your time gap is and see if you've made any chunk away. And like I said, I think this race is going to be won or lost in the S's here. As we kind of come through. This is where gaps and breaks can be closed down and gaps can be made. So as we come through, we are looking at a gap that's about 22 seconds. We're going to see how I'm going to stay on board and see what it looks like as we come to the other side. 15 seconds back, we've got Kirsten Cotronis. She's got a decision to make. She's got a group behind her, another 15 seconds, and she's got Taya Friedstead 15 seconds ahead of her. and she is riding for 4th place, Kirsten Catronis. So if she wants a shot, she's got to go forward. If she wants a group shot, she's going to roll back and go for that group bunch sprint for 4th place. Taya Friedstedt is not showing any signs of slowing down. She's got her foot on the pedal as she reaches just around here, the 1200 meter mark. And as she makes this right-hand turn, we'll follow her along. And there's the rock that tells us there's 1K to go. Now we're looking at the gap, and here is where we see how things are going. And looks like the gap has gone out to 40 seconds. But the gap has closed between Taya Friedstedt and Kirsten Catronis. And I think now it's time to put these riders together and see what we can do to close this gap on this next hill. We are starting this would be first, second. We are on our 3rd and final lap. We're going to climb this our 3rd time. So here we go. Coming down to the final bit. This is where all the action will be happening on our next lap. So we've got to watch out for that. Looking at our breakaway group, we've got 43 seconds there together, putting 4.5 watts. These are wattages that would smash even in the men's race. And they know that they still have got legs, but they've got one climb to do. But looking the other way, it's one last climb to do. So hopefully we'll get some fireworks out of this. We've got 2 riders up, 2 riders chasing, and then 2 riders chasing even behind that. We've got 3 chase groups happening, so this is definitely an exciting race. I hope you're enjoying this at home. If anyone's got any comments, I'm jumping over to social media, seeing what's going on, and lots of cheer and love for Miss Carrie Conabear. She's putting herself out there. Definitely a rider to watch out for. She's been out front. So we were on board with 2 Team ODivaZ riders. Really need to try to close that gap. They are 43 seconds. They are now racing for 3rd place. So they're going to need to get each other up and over the hill and try to close that gap as much as possible to Lisa Tilford and Carrie Conabear. And to see if they can close that. It is 45 seconds. They have got some work to do. But this hill is what's going to tell us or make or break this breakaway. I'm actually going to jump back to the 2nd chase group with Stephanie Holmichael and C. Scott. And they are working well. They are 20 seconds behind. They are still within that 20-second gap that we see close every week. And a lot of races, we see this gap close. And they could see the beacon up there, and they know, hey, we just need to keep pushing, get that beacon closer. And during this climb, I need to keep a nice steady pace. So one thing about climbing, as you go up climbs, even in the race situation, a lot of times you'll be chasing wheels and you'll be reacting to how other riders are riding a hill. But a lot of times what could be better for riders is to ride a more steady pace to get them up and over. And what you'll find is that you'll get quicker times and be able to have energy at the top to do something as far as, make a jump or jump across a gap or push the pedals tough across the top. If in fact you have a little bit of energy on top, if you stay within your power ranges. So that will be important as we hit the hill here with C. Scott and on Hallmichael here, Stephanie Hallmichael. They are going up, and we're going to see what kind of wattages they can put out. We'll go up to the groups. We've got 2-2-2. They're riding for 1st, 2nd, and then there is a chase group of Kirsten Catronis and Taya Friedstedt for 3rd place. And then we've got Miss Hallmichael here and Miss Scott hitting this hill with all intensity, but they have now caught Kirsten Catronis and Taya Friedstedt. So now we've got a group of 4. So as we make it up this hill, we are now going to pan out and see how much room we've got. We've got 4 riders riding for 3rd place now. They are all looking like they're wanting to stay together up. We can see the smoke of the volcano here in the distance as the helicopter view pulls out. We can see the beacon. We do not see the front group of Carrie Conabear and Lisa Tilford. They are about 20 seconds ahead of this group, 30 seconds ahead of this group, But this group is looking like they're wanting to stay together, and I think that's the smart move. Remember that there is a downhill on the other side, so a lot of times, as I am sometimes found to be director sportif of some of our team races, you want to go as hard as you need to go to get up and over with this group, and then use the group to your advantage as you come down on the other side. So I'm on board with Kirsten Contreras. Stephanie Holmichael is right behind her. C. Scott and Tia Freisted are right there with them. So as the helicopter repositions and gets us around, we'll get us back down into the group here. They are staying pretty close. We've got Carrie Conover showing 49 seconds ahead of the main group. Really pushing hard. Lisa Tilford there just a couple seconds. Actually over 15 seconds behind her. Really sticking it to Lisa here as far as the time. But again, remember, downhills and uphills, we'll need to see how it is right before they come into the sprint. We'll be able to get a little bit better time gap on us. So we still have got 4 riders here coming up the final turn up to the KOM. I'm going to jump forward on board with Lisa Tilford here and see how far we are. Actually, I could do this through Zwift Power. We've got 30 seconds. Tilford and then it's Conover showing same time on Zwift Power, but in game, obviously in front of. So we'll need to wait till we get over the KOM here. We've got 3 riders of Kirsten Contreras, Stephanie Holmichael, and C. Scott rolling over the top here, with Tia Freitz just behind, needing to give a little bit of a push to get with them. You want to make sure you have a little bit of a draft on the other side of this, but I'm sure the legs are feeling it after how much effort Tia has put in on the first two times coming up this hill, as well as coming down on the opposite side. She was by herself and really putting down TT efforts on the opposite side. So I'm sure she's going to try to catch here on the downhill. We've got 3 riders, very smart, putting each other together, and I am going to jump forward just as Carrie Conover. Oh, there she is. Comes back on screen. There we go. I've got one more click to go. There she is. All right, we are on board with Carrie Conover, putting out 4.5 watts per kilogram, and she is headed down. She's got one little crest here, and then she'll be headed back downhill, going towards Hank's garage. And this is where the drafting, this is where the arrow can happen. This is where she needs to kind of look at the time gap as what's left and see if she can decrease her heart rate and make sure she's got legs to finish this race. She is on the final leg. She's only got one little spiker climb, and she's got the final 1K to go. Getting through the S's, there is not much racing left to go. Lisa Tilford is still on the gas, matching watt for watt to chase down Carrie Conover. She's about 27 seconds back. So definitely a chase happening here. We're going to see if we could stay on board with the groups, but I'm going to stay on board with Carrie Conover just so that the game and our stats have a chance to update here. But we're looking at a pretty large gap as we come around. She's on the downhill now. Here we go. So we're looking at 28 seconds coming down. It'll flatten out by Hank's garage, and then we will see what the gaps are again. We'll get a time check, and then we'll see how she does. But definitely, it's been a very interesting race. We've had more climbing than we've ever had in any of the 8 races that we've had here in the ODivaZ race. I think it's made for a very interesting race, and I think efforts that you've seen being put out by the riders definitely show that these riders have put in work over the weeks of training, and knowing this course is super important, and over again knowing how much effort you can put, and not doing an all-out effort per se up every climb, but in fact doing a calculated effort to make sure that you have efforts to continue on and to press on, and being aware of what gaps, like I'm calling out, different time gaps, and knowing how much time is left. Carrie Conover still has got the gas on. She knows she's got a little bit of time. I think she's trying to recover here as she comes across the bridge. I'm going to roll back. Oh, just missed it. I'm going to try to roll back to our chase group here. Let me see if I get on with Lisa. Might bring us back up. Lisa's just coming across the bridge. She could barely see Carrie as she goes up that climb to the left. There is a couple riders here in between. I'm just going to see if I could catch them. There we go. That will open us up, and that allow us to get us to Kirsten. There she is. We've got our 3 riders, very smart, staying together. Let me see what the gaps are, and we've lost them. But they are headed downhill, and not quite to the bridge yet. That'll put us at about 45 seconds to the rider ahead of them. As they get to the bottom of the hill and they get to Hank's garage, I'll be able to see the other riders, and we will be able to see our gaps. But at this point, Kirsten Cotronis, Stephanie Hallmichael, and C. Scott, they are going to need to put the gas down. Passing Hank's Garage, I'm hoping they picked up a quick shot. It is time. It is time to race. We've only got a little bit of racing to go. This is the final bit. This is all you've got. This is all you're doing today. We're finishing up the race strong. Everyone putting the pedals down. We're looking at Lisa Tilford, 1 minute and 20 seconds ahead of this group. That looking like this group is racing for third place. So we will stay on board with that, and I will definitely check back. Give me 1 second here, 1 second. There she is. All right, so I am on board with Lisa Tilford here, and 14 seconds behind Carrie Conabear. And that gap is getting closer. It was about 45 seconds as we came off the hill, but like I said, S's and climbs, it's definitely difficult to kind of show where we're at. Jumping back with Carrie Conabear, she's coming into Sprint Village, strongly, steadily rolling that 3.5, 4.0 that she's been doing all race. Definitely doing well here up the front, showing her presence, making sure everyone knows that, hey, I am a strong rider. And she's definitely showing that today. Her colors are coming through. Back to Lisa here. She's coming through Sprint Village, just coming past the fountain. Looks like unless Lisa can drop down that gap, I think that's going to hold. 15 seconds through the S's is a good amount, but she's going to really need to pick it up, and she does. She hears me over the air and says, hey, don't count me out yet. So she's got 4.0, 4.2. But I think the race to watch today is going to be this three-rider group here of Kirsten Cotronis, Stephanie Hallmichael, and C. Scott. They're going to be coming through the S's hot and fast. So we're going to take a look and see how this ends up. But super exciting race so far. Like I said, it's gotten plenty of hills, plenty of climbing. And like I was saying earlier, it's very, very important for these riders to get a gauge of how quickly or how hard they're going to need to go up each of the climbs. A lot of times reacting to other riders makes it very, very difficult to react or to have enough energy to, as you go over, to still be able to stay with groups. So I think it's very, very smart as riders play as quick as the pack will go to make sure that they have those energy stores to be able to get over the hill. So here's this is the race for third place. This is the race for third place. The gap ahead of us looks like within Lisa Tilford as 1 minute and 32 seconds. That is 90 seconds. So this is the race for third place. We're going to stay on board with this. Looks like Carrie Conabear is very close to the front here. She's over 30 seconds and still has got a 10-second gap in front of Lisa Tilford. She has got this well worked out. They're coming through the sprint here. I do not have her on our screen, but we will see if we could jump forward if that gap gets any closer. In Zwift Power, 10 seconds is definitely getting close, but again, coming through the S's, it's a little bit difficult to see. We've got our riders, Kirsten Cotronis, C. Scott, and Stephanie Hallmichael, all riding together, doing really well, holding about 3.5 on the front, 3.7 on the front. Very, very smart. Again, that's right. 2 miles left, 2 miles left. Push, push, push. This is the final lap. They're coming through the sprint. So if any of these riders are going to want to make a push, it's going to be over this hill, and then it's going to be riding it all the way through the S's. So now we are getting updates from the front of the group. We are looking at still a 20-second gap between Carrie Conabear and Lisa Tilford. That is looking like it's set. They are getting very close to about 1,500 meters to go in that front group. We'll be watching that here, but I'd like to stay on board. This is the race for third. Kirsten Cotronis, Stephanie Hallmichael, and C. Scott. We are going to take them up the hill. This is a little punchy, as you see. We've got the bridge across there, and we're coming down towards the bottom of the screen. This is a 5.5, almost 6% at the top, and they are putting the wattages out. C. Scott is putting 6.5, 5.8 watts per kilogram. Letting them know I am here to play. We need to get up and over this hill. And they are pushing it. C. Scott's got a little bit of a gap. Kirsten's got to close that. It would be smart to stay close. And the thing about rolling over is you need to roll over. You need to go all the way over each of these hills and not kind of get off the pedal as you get off the top. You need to push, just like Kirsten Cotronis is there doing here to get to the other side. She's got 4.5. Yep, and she's back on. That's exactly what you need to do. Classic textbook move to roll over these hills. So great job there. So looking at the gaps up front, Carrie Conabear's got 140 ahead of this group, and just about 10 seconds behind her is Lisa Tilford. They should be getting very close to the 1K mark. I'm going to stay on board because I do not want to lose this this third place race that we've got. So we'll keep the stats coming to you, but Thanks for joining us here. This is going to be an exciting finish. We've got 2 breaks. We have a one-man break and a chase group in a single rider, Lisa Tilford. And then we've got the race for third here. Kirsten Cotronis, Stephanie Hall-Michael, and C. Scott coming into the finish here. And definitely a fun ride here as we jump over through the S's. And like I said, the gaps can kind of wax and wane as we come up and over, but these ladies are not letting it off the pedal. They know that there's only a little bit left. And as we come down, we will get the pan out view, and we will get to the 2 little signs that gap us to go to the volcano or go back to the start finish. And that will put us down to about 1,000 meters to go. And I think that is going to take us to where we want to be. And I see the signs there, so I am going to see if we can get back. Here we are. So that would make our first group coming through the line. Carrie Conover most likely coming through the finish now. Our second finisher, Lisa Tilford, amazing job today holding off the field and really challenging the likes of Carrie Conover. So we are coming down. We are 1,000 meters to go. We've got a spike by C. Scott. I'm actually going to jump on board with C. Scott here. Looking back, leaving a little bit of gap there. 5.7, 5.5. Huge jump here as we come in. We're about 700 meters to go. Needs a bit of a punch. Here she comes. Kirsten Cotronis is matching that jump and holding on to that wheel. Very smart move. See if we can pan out here. There we go. Here they come. And both come by. Kirsten Cotronis comes by, headed into the 300 meter mark, really holding that wheel, not wanting to make that move yet. She's right with Stephanie Hall-Michael. Kirsten's pulling at 5.0. Stephanie's holding in 200 meters to go. Need to make a move, trying to figure out who's going to go first, who's going to set the first punch. Looks like Kirsten Cotronis is holding that wheel. If she can just hold on. She's got just a 100 meters to go. No response here from Stephanie Hall-Michael. And looks like Kirsten Cotronis is going to roll in at 3rd place with Stephanie Hall-Michael rolling in 4th place and C. Scott rolling in 5th. I'm going to see if I could jump back into the module here and grab a couple riders. Definitely the challenging part of this all. But this will do it. Sounds good. An amazing race we've had today. Really huge efforts by a lot of our riders. And so with that, I will give a quick recap. We've got our first rider, Carrie Conover, really riding strongly up the first hill, letting her presence be known. Lisa Tilford, the C rider, probably now being upgraded after today's amazing race, trying to hold off the likes of Carrie Conover to make that to move to that position, and then moving back down to 3rd place, Kirsten Cotronis closing that gap to Tia Freidstedt in the middle of the race to get herself in position with C. Scott and Stephanie Hall-Michael, and then in the final bit, just putting enough power out to edge Stephanie Hall-Michael out of the 3rd spot, and our 4th spot would be Stephanie Hall-Michael, and then C. Scott rolling in as 5th. So an amazing race we had today. Great job, strong wins, great efforts here on social media. Everyone shouting out, great race by Carrie. So let's see what else we have left. All right, so if we look back just a little bit before we go, looking back a little bit, going up to the B race, we're just on board with Team Moose, which actually, from I hear the story, it's an amazing story. I believe it's a 60-plus Masters rider that rides and has amazing amount of fitness. So we definitely need to kind of make a story of this. Even worth a shout out to Miss Beth York and her crew out there to maybe get on board and find out who this rider is and get some more information. I got a little ping about a week or two ago about this B rider, and definitely want to look further into her as time goes on. But we'll roll back to Kim Gussie. She's coming through the S's and through the final pieces here. We've got Miss Asari here rolling about 10 seconds behind her. Still full effort. Everyone is still full on the gas, and a lot of times you'll get disconnected. But like I said before, there is a race in between all the races, and this is where those riders are. So let me get back to our main screen. So today we had a really great race today, and like I said, we had our top 5 riders. We had Carrie Conover, Lisa Tilford, Kirsten Catronis from Team ODivaZ, Stephanie Hallmichael, and then we had C. Scott. Those are our top 5 riders from today. So amazing race, great racing. The course was definitely difficult. Definitely need to come back and do this again. The hill course has always been challenging. And so with no doubt, we had a great race. So thank you to everybody on social media, everyone who was on board today. It was a great time. And I hope everyone enjoys us for the 9th installment in 2 weeks. And so just a couple things that are coming up as far as Team ODivaZ and Zwift Live. We've got our normal schedule of What's Up with Power in the feed zone. We've got our Castelli rides, and we have some new expansions which are called ODiZwifter rides, which actually are workout rides. And what you'll be able to do on those rides is you'll be able to ride with a ride leader that'll take you through a workout. So that's something to check out on our page as well. So if you have any interest in that, check that out. And don't forget the ODivaZ races every 2 weeks. So with that, I'm going to leave a little bit more information about one of our really interesting talks during the week. It comes on Wednesdays at 6:30 Eastern time. And it's What's Up with Power and with Justin Wagner, and I will leave you with him. Have a great day. This is Jason Flores from HasFlow Studios. Thanks for joining us.
Did you know that your power meter could lie to you? Taylor, tell us what that's all about.
Corrupt data is the enemy of the power-based cyclist. You can use tools like Training Peaks and WKO4 to find those bad power spikes, particularly if you're using something like a left-sided power meter. Justin, don't you have a left-sided power meter?
Why, yes, I do. And if you have a left-sided power meter, here's some information you definitely need to know.